Stop everything you're doing right now and do not keep scrolling, because this is not an ordinary message that just happened to cross your path. There's a specific reason you're here, standing in front of these words at this very moment. I need to tell you, with the urgency of someone who sees what's happening in the unseen, that the door is closing. What was opened for your rescue, your restoration, and your direction is becoming narrow, and this is the warning I was entrusted to deliver to you before time runs out. You feel this weight, don't you? That sense that something has shifted in the air, that an old cycle is being forcefully brought to an end, even if you're not ready. I promise that by the end of this transmission, you'll understand why every sign that has been disturbing your rest is there. And more than that, you'll receive the clarity you've been quietly seeking for so many months. Don't turn away, because what I'm about to reveal here is the map of what you need to do so you don't end up on the outside of this turning point. You've been noticing things no one else does. It's that constant waking up in the middle of the night, always around 3 in the morning, as if something is calling you to a conversation you don't yet know how to have. It's those waves of sudden emotion, an urge to cry for no apparent reason, or conversations with people close to you that suddenly feel empty, as if you're speaking different languages. That exhaustion you carry, it's not of the body but of the soul, is only the preparation for what's coming next. You are being uprooted from a soil that no longer has any nutrients for your growth. If even one of these signs touched you and made your heart race right now, type the number 777 in the comments. It is the number of confirmation that what you feel is not delusion, but alignment. Your fingers typing those numbers are your spirit affirming that you are ready. Type 777 and come back to me. It's no coincidence that you've tried everything and yet the door still seems locked. The pattern you keep repeating is like trying to force a lock with a key that has been changed. You strive, you spend your vital energy on paths that promise relief, but the exhaustion only grows. It's an invisible sign. Attention!
Do you feel like you're carrying an invisible weight? Your mind tired, your heart tight, anxious about tomorrow? That anguish, that fear of the future, the isolation. It seems like you're alone in this struggle, without hope. But deep down, you long for peace, for a new way of living, lighter and with unshakable faith. That's why I present The Path to Inner Peace, your daily guide to finding calm, faith, and courage. It's a 30-day journey, a daily devotional for a lighter, more confident, and purposeful life. And this transformation is already a reality for hundreds, as you see. Your story begins now. Secure your access now. Click the first pinned link in the comments.
Cycle of repetition where you give, you surrender, and in the end, you feel even emptier. I see that on many days, you've asked yourself if your effort was in vain or if you had been forgotten. But the truth is, you haven't been forgotten. You've been kept for this very moment of transition. It's as if there's a flame that once blazed brightly inside you, but over time it became covered by thick layers of ash, the responsibilities, the pains, the disappointments you accumulated that forced you to hide from yourself. That flame did not go out. It's just waiting for the breath of recognition that is happening now. If this image of the flame beneath the ashes makes sense to you, and you understand that we're talking about your essence, type the phrase, "I see it." Writing these words seals what has just been touched within you. Type "I see it" and come back to me. You've been carrying the world on your shoulders, holding up everyone's smile while your own on the inside often falters. I know the nights when you whispered, asking for someone to see what you carry in silence. That pain, that feeling that life is passing by and you're just watching, all of it was necessary so that your humility would not be lost. You feel small in the face of what's coming, but your fragility is your greatest strength. This isn't about deserving, because no one deserves the grace that is being poured out. It's about positioning. You are positioned to receive what the divine has reserved for those who, like you, never gave up even when the ground disappeared beneath them. But be careful, for the enemy of your peace does not like this revelation. He tries to cast doubt, to plant fear, to tell you none of this is real so that you walk away before the time is right. If you feel that something tried to knock you down in these last few days, and by a force you can't explain, you're still standing, declare it now. Type in the comments, "Nothing can touch me." This isn't just a phrase, it's your decree of protection against whatever tries to block your progress. Type it and come back to me. Now I need you to place yourself entirely at attention, not like someone listening to a lecture, but like someone presenting themselves before the Creator for a final summons. I want to call you by name, the name that was chosen for you before anything existed, the name that carries your mission and your story. But in this space, the rule is clear. You need to say who you are. Type your first name in the comments. It's not for a registry, it's not for anyone else but us. It's so you can place your name before the heavens as an act of surrender, like saying, "Here I am, you can call me. Write your name and come back to me." Feel the gravity of this moment. You are being seen not for what you have failed at, but for what you can still become. The door is almost completely closed, but for those who are here, paying attention, it still offers a sliver of light. Don't look back, for what has passed served only as a school. What lies ahead is the territory of promise, and it is vast, even though it may seem unknown. Are you still with me? Stay focused, because what we are still going to address is the final confirmation of your identity, something no one will be able to take from you once it is engraved on your spirit. Your face, your name, your story, all of it is part of the plan that is being fulfilled at this very moment. And you could not be in a better place than here, hearing what needed to be said before time silenced the opportunity. Stop everything you are doing now. Do not keep scrolling. Do not try to look away, because this message did not come to you by accident. There is a reason you are hearing this exactly at this moment, and time is a decisive factor, for something has begun to move in the unseen, and the door is starting to close. You feel the weight you carry, the fatigue that insists on settling on your shoulders even after a long night's rest, and that inexplicable tightness in your chest that appears when you least expect it. Know that this is not by chance, nor a sign of weakness. It is the clear evidence that you are being prepared for something far greater than what you have lived through so far. Before this day comes to an end, I want you to understand that if even one of these signs has touched you, if you felt a shiver or a strange sense of recognition while reading these words, you need to seal this moment. Type the number 777 in the comments. It is the number of confirmation of what is coming in your life. Your fingers typing it are your spirit saying yes to the change that is already knocking at your door. You have been walking in circles, pulling a rope that is no longer attached to anything, mistaking your physical exhaustion for a lack of faith. But what you don't realize is that your effort was not in vain. It was the necessary process to clear away what no longer served you. Now pay attention to the metaphor that the divine reveals to you. Imagine an ancient bonfire, built in a courtyard you know well. The fire seems to have gone out, leaving only a pile of dark, cold ashes covering the ground. You look at those ashes and think the light is gone forever, that there is no more heat or brightness. Yet, deep down, under that heavy, grey layer, there is still a live ember, a point of light that pulses, waiting only for someone to blow the breath of truth over it, so the flame can burn again with all its strength. That flame is your purpose, your essence, and it never died. It just waited for the right moment to be uncovered. If this image fit exactly in that place in your chest that you didn't even know how to explain, type the phrase, "I see it." Writing these words seals within you the certainty that the ember is still alive. I know your nights of silence, when the house is asleep and you wonder if, after all, anyone truly sees the weight of the battles you fight alone. I know the times you smiled at the world while, inside, you felt like you were falling apart. You are a person of giving, someone who has always held others up, even when there was no one to hold you up. That is your greatest sign of being chosen, the ability to be strong, even when the structure of your world feels shaken. Do not blame yourself for having felt lost or for having wanted to give up at times. That is human, and the divine understands your fragility better than you do yourself. If you feel that, despite everything, something tried to knock you down many times and failed, you need to declare your victory over those shadows. Type in the comments, "Nothing can touch me." This isn't just a phrase, it is the decree that dissolves fear and places a shield over your path. Type it and come back to me. At this moment, the human dimension of your life meets the eternal purpose. You are not just what you do, nor are you the result of your past losses. You are someone being called by a name that carries a lineage of strength and resilience. I want to call you by that name, the one chosen for you before anything existed, the one that holds the key to your life's turning point. Write your first name in the comments now. It's not for a registry, it's not to be seen by others, it's so you can place your name before the heavens as an act of surrender, like saying, "Here I am, you can call me." Feel the gravity of this moment, for being called by name is the first step to taking your place in the plan that is being fulfilled. You are being seen, not for what you have failed at, but for what you are capable of becoming. Keep your focus, for what is still to come is the final confirmation of who you are, and you could not be in a better place than here, receiving the recognition you have waited for so long. If you feel that your life is finally aligning, type in the comments, "Yes, I believe." This is your amen without words for everything the divine has already begun to move in your favor. Type it and come back to me. Stop everything you are doing right now, for what I am about to reveal is not a coincidence, but a meeting arranged by the divine before you even opened this screen. There is a door that has opened for your life, a passage that for a long time seemed locked by chains of doubt and exhaustion, but that at this very moment is beginning to swing. I know you have been carrying a weight that is not yours, a burden that no one else sees, and that often in the hours of silence you wondered if your effort was in vain. But I am here to tell you that the wait is over. Time is running, and this is the last chance to cross over before the path closes again. This message is your confirmation. There are signs that have been following you lately, like silent warnings only you understand. Maybe it's that feeling of waking up at the same minute every night, or the frequency with which certain thoughts seem to echo in your mind for no apparent reason. Maybe it's the distancing of people who were once part of your routine, but now, suddenly, no longer have harmony with your journey. None of this is chaos, my child. It is alignment. If at least one of these signs touched your chest and made you stop to listen, type the number 777 in the comments now. It is the number of confirmation, the proof that heaven is moving in your favor. You have been living in a pattern of effort that has become invisible to the eyes of the world. It's as if you've been pulling a rope that in truth is no longer tied to anything, spending energy that should have been saved for the harvest. But beneath all that fatigue, there is an ember still burning, a light that was covered by the ashes of past disappointments. That flame is your essence, and it needs to be recognized to reignite with all its strength. If this image of the ember hidden beneath the ashes makes sense to you now, if you can see that your light never truly went out, type, "I see it." By typing these words, you are signing a pact of recognition with your own soul. If at any point you felt that external forces tried to divert your course or put out your hope, know that they no longer have power. If you feel that something tried to knock you down and it failed, declare it now. Type in the comments, "Nothing can touch me." This is not an empty phrase. It is a decree of protection that shields your spirit against any attack. Type it and come back to me. And as you do that, look within yourself and realize that at this moment someone has just come to your mind. Maybe it's someone who has been trying harder than everyone else, someone who carries a deep silence that no one around them understands, or a person whose face appeared in your memory while I was speaking. Don't ignore that movement. Send this message to that person. Give them the comfort you yourself are receiving, for what is shared multiplies in the unseen. Stop right now, interrupt what you are doing, and do not allow the flow of your everyday thoughts to erase the urgency of what is happening. There is a reason you are here at this exact instant, and that reason was not born of chance. The door you have waited so long to see open has begun to turn on its hinges, but it is closing now, and this message is the sign that the waiting time has reached its limit. Heaven does not send messages when the clock still has time to spare. Heaven manifests when the deadline is running out. You feel a tightness in your chest, a restlessness that finds no rest, a sense that something immense is about to be defined in your journey. I know you have been waking up in the middle of the night, that you have felt a weight on your shoulders you shouldn't be carrying, and that conversations around you sound increasingly distant, almost as if you are in a place no one else can reach. These are not signs of weakness, my child. They are signs that you are being prepared for what's next. If at least one of these symptoms touched your reality, if you recognize the loneliness of your journey in what I just said, type the number 777 in the comments. This is the number of spiritual confirmation. You have been striving, fighting against chains no one sees, trying to open paths that seemed blocked by invisible walls. But understand, your effort was an attempt to solve something that does not depend on the strength of your arms, but on the surrender of your heart. You have tried to carry the world, tried to be the rock for everyone, but who has been the rock for you? Beneath that tiredness, there is a flame that was once intense, but it became covered by the ashes of disappointments and promises that never came. I see that ember. I see what remains of your hope, kept safe deep down, protected from the cold. If this image of the ember beneath the ashes touched a place in you that you didn't even know still hurt, type the phrase, "I see it." Writing these words is your commitment that you will no longer let this flame go out. I understand there have been moments when you looked up to the heavens and asked if anyone was still looking back. You smiled at people while your soul begged for a little relief. You carried the weight of everyone's decisions, gave up yourself out of duty, and today you feel like someone who gave everything they had but forgot to save something for their own journey. This is the moment to recognize that your value does not come from what you do for others, but from who you are in the eyes of the one who created you. Now, I want to call you by name, but only you can give me that honor. Write your first name in the comments, not as someone filling out a form, but as someone who places themselves to be seen and called by the divine. What you have been feeling is not physical tiredness. It is exhaustion that comes from the soul for trying to carry burdens that were not designed for your back. I know of the times you withdrew to a corner and let the tears fall so no one would see, afraid that your vulnerability would be mistaken for weakness, but what you call weakness, the divine calls divine sensitivity. It is precisely because you are sensitive that you were chosen to go through what others could not bear. If you understand that this weight you carry is, in truth, preparation for something greater, type the number 777 now. This is the number of your confirmation, the proof that you are no longer walking in the dark. Type 777 and come back to me, for we still have much to align before the door closes. Look at the path you have traveled, and notice how, at decisive moments, an invisible hand kept you from making decisions that would have been catastrophic. You wanted something so badly, but the door didn't open. At that moment you felt wronged. But now, with the clarity time has brought, you realize that the closing of that door was the greatest relief of your life. You have mistaken silence for abandonment, when in truth, silence is the preparation of the ground for what is coming. If you recognize that, even when everything seemed lost, you were never forsaken, type the phrase now, I stay the course. This is your oath of continuity. Type I stay the course, and come back to me, because the next step requires your heart to be completely open. There are repetitive patterns in your life that arose from wounds from childhood, from teachings you inherited that no longer serve the person you have become. You no longer need to prove yourself to anyone. Your value is not something you earn. It is something you inherit by birthright. The enemy of your soul tried to convince you that you are a survivor, but I am here to tell you that you are a victor. If you feel that it is time to break free once and for all from these invisible chains that bind you to the past, type in the comments, "My freedom starts now." It is a necessary step so you can receive what is already reserved. Type it and come back to me, for what is coming exceeds anything you can imagine. Look closely at the image forming now in your mind, a living ember, hidden under a thick layer of ashes that time and discouragement have deposited over your soul. You thought the flame had gone out, that the light you once had in your eyes had been lost forever, but what you feel now, this warmth beginning to radiate in the center of your chest, is proof that the divine breath never stopped. If you recognize this living ember still burning inside you, type the phrase, "I see it." By writing these two words, you remove the ash and allow the light to once again illuminate your surroundings. Type, "I see it," and come back to me, because we need to talk about who has been trying to put out your light. Many times, you felt the air around you grow heavy just when you were about to take an important step, as if there was an invisible resistance trying to convince you to stop. There is a silent enemy, made of doubt and fear, that takes advantage of the moments when you feel alone to whisper that nothing will change. But at this very instant, the tables have turned. If you feel that none of these forces managed to knock you down and that you are still standing despite everything, declare it now. Type in the comments, "Nothing can touch me." This is not just a phrase, it is a decree of protection that seals your authority. Type it and come back to me, because the next moment is one of deep intimacy between you and the divine. Now I want you to pause what you are doing for a brief second and prepare your spirit to be called by name. Heaven knows every detail of your story, every scar you have hidden from others, and every silent victory no one saw. Don't do this like someone filling out a form, but like someone placing their very life before the eternal presence to be recognized, seen, and called by the one who created you. Write your name and come back to me so that our final connection can be complete. As you process this truth, feel that someone has just come to your mind. Think of that person who has been trying tirelessly, someone carrying a weight on their shoulders that no one else notices, someone whose face is marked by fatigue, but who insists on moving forward even without seeing the door open. That face that appeared is the sign. You should not keep this message only for yourself. Give it to that person as if extending a hand to a brother on the road. Share this with them, for the light you received here needs to overflow. And if what you heard touched the depths of your soul, let your touch on the screen be your amen without words, a sacred agreement that you are ready for what comes next. Take a deep breath, feel the air renewing your hope, and declare your final identity. Type slowly the words, "I am the chosen one." This is not a request. It is the confirmation of your lineage. You are covered. You are protected. You are being led by the invisible hand that never let go of your path. Right now, all over the world, hundreds of people are receiving this same calling, and you are part of this family that recognizes itself in the truth. Attention!
Do you feel like you're carrying an invisible weight? Your mind tired, your heart tight, anxious about tomorrow? That anguish, that fear of the future, the isolation. It seems like you're alone in this struggle, without hope. But deep down, you long for peace, for a new way of living, lighter and with unshakable faith. That's why I present The Path to Inner Peace, your daily guide to finding calm, faith, and courage. It's a 30-day journey, a daily devotional for a lighter, more confident, and purposeful life. And this transformation is already a reality for hundreds, as you see. Your story begins now. Secure your access now. Click the first pinned link in the comments.